Savita Rani, Vibha Rani, Madhuri Bhatia, Shruti Sreedharan.
Okay, so since you've been hearing my voice all this while, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to ask one by one all of them to speak, if that's okay, Kanika. Fantastic. So we'll start from that end. Vibhaji, if you can talk a little bit about what you do as a theatre maker, as a theatre activist, and the kinds of alternate spaces that you occupy.
Thank you so much, Kanika ji, and this wonderful forum. My theatre journey is, it was a challenge when I have restarted my theatre after 20 years. When my children grown up, and then I thought, this is a time I can go on, I can re-enter into the theatre. Then I thought, what will be the challenge for me? And I don't want, because after 20 years, my age was also grown up, and I didn't want to do just mummy ban karke beta doodh pee lo, beta khichdi kha lo. I didn't want to do, and I wanted, what is lacking behind the theatre, or especially in the Hindi theatre and Maithili theatre. Then I thought that this is solo theatre. Solo theatre, though all people and all theatre people, they are working in group theatre, and they're thinking that group theatre is, because theatre is a group work, so people should go for group theatre only. And then I thought, no, it is solo theatre can be done for each and everyone, because this is a challenge, and solo theatre is not a monologue. So solo theatre is a challenge for the artist, for the entire audience, because they are not also very exposed up to what is solo theatre. And the thing is that solo theatre, what they give you. Solo theatre gives you an entire storyline, the entire characters, and solo theatre also give you the group work, because someone is writer, someone is director, someone is craft maker, someone is a stage designer, someone is dress designer, or like this, like the entire theatre. So I started theatre, solo theatre from the year 2007, and that time it was I used to approach all the people, all the theatre groups and all the festival organizers कि please मुझे भी बुला लीजिए. नहीं मैडम, सोलो थिएटर कौन देखेगा, सोलो थिएटर किसको पता है, नहीं ये होगा. हमने कहा कि आप कुछ मत कीजिए, just we will be only 3 people, me and my light person and my director or music people. नहीं मैडम, हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हम आपको बुला सकते हैं. हमने कहा okay, you call me. And I used to go with 2 packets or 2 bags of costume and other things. And then I request, okay, you give me 2 volunteers who can work on one on light and one on music, and then I rehearse again and again. I rehearse and then I present. But the main my objective was that to imbibe solo theatre in the mindset of the people. Yes, this is also a kind of theatre. And for that, I have started room theatre, because I thought that proscenium theatre, it is a very expensive matter, and in theatre, each and every person know that the moment if you will ask कि ticket ले लो तो pass है madam, so people are still they are surviving on pass, and this is not only when Ratna Pathak Shah was also mentioning somewhere. So then I have started room theatre. Why? Because it will be in a pocket, it will be in your living room, it may be in the school room, classroom, it may be in the courtyard, it may be in the Shadi ka hall, it may be in the anywhere, or it may be at the time of your 25th wedding anniversary or 50th wedding anniversary or anything, or bacche ki chhathi or mundan, kuch bhi hai. Just you call me, I will do according the play, and in the room theatre, whatever it is there, whatever the situation, whatever space, whatever the light, whatever the circumstances. The objective, only one objective was to imbibe the theatre in each and every person. Because I do not know whether you will be agree with me or not, but in India, in our country, theatre education is very less. When we say to people, when we ask to people कि theatre आपने किया है, हाँ किया था ना जब हम 3री कक्षा में थे. तो 3री कक्षा से आगे हमारा थिएटर बढ़ता नहीं है. तो ऐसे में हम 70 lights and 100 stage craft दिखा करके क्या करेंगे? For me, theatre needs only 3 things, like basic food, dal roti sabzi. So like this content, script, direction and performance. These things, these three things are here. So whatever the circumstances, whatever the situation, I can do. And this this room theatre I have introduced, and this I have exercised in jails of Bombay and Pune. Bombay, all four jails, Arthur Road jails, Kalyan jail, Thane jail, and Bhaikhala jail. All those four jails I have exercised. Then Pune Yerwada jail I have exercised. Then Anathashram, orphanages, there I have exercised. And other places for mainstream people also I have exercised. And then I found that it is so useful, this room theatre concept is so useful, that people have started at their groups, in their theatre groups they have started in Dehradun, they have started in Delhi, they have started in Calcutta, or I have my own theatre group, its name is Abhitoko, and people, they approach, can I start in our place with using your banner? I mean, yes, fine, you start. And thus Banaras, Kolkata, Lucknow, Kanpur, Delhi, these all chapters were open. And these are the unconventional places, and unconventional places, when you turn them into theatre, then people also find the I can say then they find, oh, there are so many possibilities here also, we can do theatre. In this place also we can do theatre. Whether the theatre gurus and veteran gurus, they say नहीं proscenium के अलावा तो और कहीं theatre हो ही नहीं सकता है. And non-conventional, this is today's demand, because we don't have much budget, and if in one proscenium, if I invest 5 lakhs rupees, I will I will prefer to do in these 5 lakhs rupees, I will do 10 or 20 or 25 shows in different pockets of the town or kasbah or one city or another city. So in this way, this is my theatre journey, and it is continuously, it is going on. For right now it is this much, later on then.
Okay. Well, actually, Vibha has said it all and then some, and it's very vast, her experience. I know her personally, I've also worked with her. And
yes, she has worked with me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad, I'm so humbled too.
No. In fact, I'm humbled. She's a lady with a vast amount of knowledge, and she's very, very, very egalitarian in her approach to everything and everybody. I never started off because I had a passion for theatre or acting or singing or dancing. I just did it like everybody else did in their homes, and I was growing up at the school level, and I participated in things at school and at weddings and birthday parties and fun with friends and that sort of thing. And then I started finding that I enjoyed it much more than playing a lot of other games. But I enjoyed singing, I enjoyed enacting, I enjoyed dancing, and I used to enjoy taking on another character. To some extent it used to be an escape for me, because of various confusions in my head, trying to come to terms with the kind of girl or young woman that I was developing into, and I couldn't quite fathom what was going on in my mind. And so this was a nice little comfort zone I would walk into and just pretend I was a different Madhuri every day and turn on a different persona, much to my mother's chagrin, and she would try and figure out कि नुकी हो रहा है, खुदी जाई गधी जाई बन गई है, and मैं नुकी अंधी भी सी कि तो खुदी गधी बन गई है, and I would sort of say, well, what are you saying, Mama? You know, I thought you told me that I can act, and all now you're telling me I'm a donkey. Anyway, so I lived with that for a little while, and then I don't know, we were in South India in those days. My father was in the Navy, and we were in fact in Kochi. And Mama decided that it's a very good idea for me to be exposed to music and dance and drama, and thank God she and my father did. And I was made to study Bharatanatyam with Krishna Kutti. And he was a wonderful guru, and he taught me very well, but he was one of those people, the old school of thought. So I used to get whacked on my bottom and on my calves when I didn't get into chalk properly and stuff like that. So that had a short spell in my life, and then I moved away from it. Anyway, that's digressing, but just to tell you that I didn't come into theatre because at some point I discovered that this was going to be the rest of my journey, and that, you know, I was very, very impassioned or anything. I just did it slowly, by the way, and then I found it very interesting and exciting. And for me, it was not just straight play acting. I walked into theatre, in musical theatre. I'd been studying dance technique, I'd been studying music, singing, and acting. So, ये तीनों को मिला के kind of musicals that I had the opportunity to work in school, and even on the home front in family get-togethers. So there came in this first introduction to different spaces. What was accepted space, like a theatre? What was accepted space, like a community space or a library or a special occasion? And then just any. You know, you're with people, you get together, you're doing something. किसी ने कह दिया कि तुम उठ के तुम कुछ दिखा दो, कुछ करो ना नाटक वाटक. तुम वैसे घर में तो करती रहती हो, तो कुछ करके दिखाओ. And so this became any space. And then much later, I didn't get into all of this at the age of 15 or 16. I walked into this arena at about, I think about 19 or something like that. I was studying English and history at university. I had no idea where I was going to go with it, but I think I hero worshipped a historian relative of mine very much, and I was highly influenced by her, and I thought, bas main isi raaste mein jaungi, uska nakal karungi. Well, I will mention her name because I'm very proud of her, and all my colleagues know her. She's Ramila Thapar, and she's my Masi. And I still am very fond of her, and she's still going strong, and she's all of 93 years old. And anyway, so where was I? I digressed again and lost it. But no, so what I did is I started, at the college level we used to have debates, and so I started suggesting that, don't make it just a simple debate of two teams and so many members discussing a subject as the pros and the cons and deciding what makes sense and what doesn't, and should we carry it further or not. Actually enact it. Become the character you want to play from whichever team you belong to, and try and work it through, and then move into the auditorium, involve the other college students. Sometimes it used to be totally chaotic, I must confess. And they said कि माधुरी बिल्कुल पागल है, तो पता नहीं कहाँ से कहाँ है, ख्याल को लेके वहाँ ले जाती है, यहाँ ले जाती है, और फिर तुम्हें कुछ समझ में नहीं आता कि इसका अंत कहाँ से आएगा. So सर उसकी ज़रूरत नहीं है. किसी ने टिकट के पैसे नहीं दिए, वो आके हमें नहीं देख रहे कि इसका ऐसे कैसे किया है, तो बकवास खाओ, कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. सोच विचार करेंगे, खुलेंगे, free, स्वतंत्र. So as far as I was concerned, that was a certain amount of an alternative space. And then I did something not as elaborately designed and well planned as Vibha, and I salute her, but in small ways in Delhi, on the terrace of my parents' home, I'd get a bunch of friends together and say, Amy, let's just do it. Let's have a healthy discussion today, but let's not do it as 4 or 5 of us chatting and saying, tum ye soch rahe ho, main ye soch rahi hu, ye karenge, wo karenge. Let's make it, as I said, just get into it. Get that one thought, get those 2 sentences into your mind, and become a different character. It's still your dhancha, it's your avaz, your vichar, your brain, your sharir. But just get into this alag thing. I'm Madhuriya, something different. And everybody would try it, and then they found it really exciting. It became like an exercise. It became like playing a game of Scrabble sometimes when you go together, and, having a cup of chai or something. And so that was my exposure to it. And then, of course, and I find that I sometimes feel that maybe in a more organized way, maybe we could introduce this at the scholastic level and even at the college level, where it doesn't take up too much of time and energy for the curriculum that has to be followed, but this also has to be followed because it changes your approach to the subject. I think maybe we could introduce this in some way, and again, I would love to get involved with the group that's doing it and explore and experiment that how do we bring some tariqa into this? How do we format it? But otherwise, I've worked with Vibha and with other people in Mumbai. I'm very grateful for working out of Mumbai because I'm doing conventional spaces, but also unconventional spaces and art galleries. There was a time when Alec Padamsi was alive, and there was a lady called Janet Fine, and she used to curate a lot of exhibitions at all the various art galleries in Mumbai. And so some of us, we had a group together, and we used to do Hindi and Angrezi plays, short little 4-piece snippets that were written by some of us. They were sometimes funny, they were sometimes serious, sometimes contemplative, thought-provoking. And we would try and take the themes that the painter had incorporated into his or her paintings and create stories around them and actually incorporate them in our enactment at the actual gallery. And then we'd ask audiences for their assessment or their reaction to the paintings before having seen our visual portrayal, and then what they felt after, and also interact with the artist. And sometimes if the artist was willing enough, we would tell them to join us in the enactment. So that's been my journey, and I would love to take this further. My last thing that I wish to say, and it's not exactly about an unconventional or an alternative space, it's more about the fact that I think somewhere along the line in commercial theatre, in all our sort of, in all our musicals that we're staging now, or even in stage theatre and the very, very expensive and elaborate auditoriums, we're concentrating too much on the accoutrement. It's all about the lighting and it's about the sound. Acoustics are of the essence and they're very essential, and basic comfortable seating. But no, it's elaborate seating, and whether you can have gizmos that push your chairs backward and forward, and whether you have, entertainment served to you on a silver platter while you're watching entertainment served to you, and have your snacks coming in and you're crunching popcorn and stuff while you're watching this, which is rubbish, should not be allowed. It's disrespectful to the art form and to the performer. I also feel that let's not concentrate so much on makeup, on costume design, on hair, on lighting. Let's concentrate on the content. What are you doing with your body and your face and your voice? What are you doing with your with the content of what you're speaking or miming or singing or dancing? That's all I'd have to say.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi. So, my name is Savita and I'm from Haryana. And I came into theatre accidentally. There was one organization which was very social, politically, culturally active once started, and many different people from different background, doctors, teachers, students, writers, poets, anybody who is interested in like education, and education in real sense, like what education does to people and for each other, like the dialogue, starts the dialogue, the spaces, open spaces. So that was the organization, and I was lucky enough to be a part of it because my father was part of that. My parents, I'm blessed to have them. I'm like feeling always grateful every day that they are my parents. And like that, I came into theatre, and I was also then studying computers. And for me, for the first time, I felt that this is the place where I can feel the energy and like that I belong here. I can feel that I belong to this place. And it's not only theatre, it was so many things. Like it was not only theatre, it was more. It was like possibilities where you can be yourself. Yeah, collectively existing at the same time, everybody is unique. Everybody is unique and listen to each other. So I was like, this is what I really like, and I never left after that group, and I kept studying and doing theatre. But later I realized that this is what I love more, and this is what I'm more interested in, and I must study. And I was very shy and introvert child, and I was feeling, should I speak to my parents about it or not? But then some confidence I have already got from working. So I was like, I shared my wish to my mother, and my mother like, oh yeah, let's talk with your father. And my father immediately said, yeah, it's an education. Whatever you want to study, we're always there. How long you want to study, and just go whatever you feel to do. And I'm like, wow, okay. And then I went to Himachal for 1 year theatre course, and then later I joined NSD. So after NSD, I would say that for me, it was a kind of realizing, reflecting back on the training, which is a professional institutional training, and which training I had in my hometown with this place, with this space. And there I felt like there is something which is needed. I want to make a bridge in between these two, because there is something which I'm lacking in this institutional training, and something which was there which I want to do, how I want to express the things, I should have that liberty. But all those together, I started looking for I had questions only in the beginning, questions only, and I felt that the questions were very important. The question itself has its own, not answer, but next question. So it's a series of questions, and then I thought this is quest. Actually, quest came from question. And that gave me a way. And then luckily I gave exam of UGC NET and the GRF I had. I joined PhD only because I was going to get scholarship. and I thought I must take it because after you studied and now you are like grown up, you cannot just be dependent on your parents. So I need some security so that then I can think of what is my process, what I can do, what I'm looking for, what I want to explore. And for that, I'm again feeling it was very good moment, like time that I went to Pondicherry, and there I did my PhD on devised solar theatre in India, and there I started reading about solo. And here I would like to make about this popular medium and unconventional spaces. So when I was doing the research, I felt that we have a huge tradition of solo storytelling even. And it is not only in India, it's like globally, all over the world, there is huge, rich folk and solo storytelling past we have. So, and it is also very unconventional spaces because we are actually coming from where spaces were not so defined spaces. It's very later that this modern theatre started about this proscenium and making a building, and in that people will come, and then they themselves covered and hide away all these spaces, and then later on they are now declaring that we are exploring now these unconventional spaces, and so I'm like, this is something. And the popular is also again is coming from the mainstream, because the moment we say popular, we think of either cinema, especially then Bollywood, which is very popular because we think that many people watch it. But I think all over the world, globally, it's the folk theatre and this theatre which is actually, or the performing arts is the popular medium from like not today, recently. It's like long history we have, huge history we have. So I think anywhere, everywhere, we are having this, our art and our education. And we had that so much enriched. And now even I feel that alternative has become so costly. In Delhi, if you look at this alternative spaces, which you cannot even see a pocket. Now it's a very small pocket and like again very restricted. So it's very interesting to look at in that sense that unconventional actually it was already it's a popular medium.
I always when Savitas says it's a folk cinema, because she writes her script, not actually, she keeps on improvising actually. It was so much like watching any folk theatre in Karnataka or anything like, and it's also shocking, okay, she gives such shocks, and direct interaction. Have anyone watched her performing? Any of you? Savita Rani performing? No, yeah. Rip. I mean, yeah. Today I don't know. This is a new production. Yeah, her earlier one, Rip, was really, it was much talked also. Everywhere she performed, everybody was like, it was such a shock treatment she gave actually, and it was highly political. And I want to ask you whether you call it as a folk, genre. I mean, it's a very Western concept of putting in folk and the classical and all, but still, like, do you would like to put you in any in such?
I don't feel myself saying that what category it is. But yes, the elements which are there, as I told that in my research when I was studying all this folk, and then I was seeing how actors have the liberty, so much liberty and freedom in folk. They improvise, they can keep improvising for the whole night, and if they want to short, like they can make it a 1 hour performance even. So these are in modern theatre where actor started getting very limited, when directors took over and the actors started getting very. So I felt that it was very interesting when I started doing my own performances, and we say devised. So devised also has a history in theatre, that when modern theatre became so limited and limiting the artistic expression, especially of actors and especially of women artists. They were like they wanted to come out of that thing, and they started making their own theatre, including their own lived experiences, their personal experiences, making part of that, and they started improvising, having an open structure, and then coming into it. I think there is that history devising is there in we studied in West, but I think we all resonate with it. We all I had the same experience after NSD, like actor always remain in waiting mode if you keep waiting for a director. Mostly you don't know, like, or if you did a play, that show will happen maybe 10 times and then it's gone. Then you're still again waiting at your home and waiting for a chance again. So it's yeah, and in West, many actresses talk about that during that time, that we are not able to express ourselves, and that's why we need our stories to be told. I don't know, but actors need to learn a lot from this. As I said, the freedom which actors have, actor-centric.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
This is that element.
The actors have more freedom. Rather, they were not controlled by directors in folk theatre. Actually,
Yes.
So this is a very Western concept. This director, and he is the ultimate. And I remember in my childhood, directors coming, and that was the modern theatre was about to come. एक step इधर जाओ और एक step के और थोड़ा ऐसे all and then director गुस्सा होके छोड़ के चले जाना all was nakara, and we used to go wow, this is something like so. But whereas एक्टर ही भगवान होता है फोक में, वो कुछ भी कर सकता है किसी को भी मतलब गाली दे सकता है, कुछ भी कर सकता है. So full freedom is there, so that element I saw in your perform, like where you're actually trained in NSD. What experience of a folk, something I could feel those shades of folk artist.
It's an interesting and a worthwhile amalgam, basically.
Yeah.
Shruti, well, I have spoken a lot about the unconventional spaces. I mean, because I was talking specifically from the point of view of being an educator, and that's also pretty much my main focus has been for the last decade and a half. So the alternative spaces that I'm occupying are actually classrooms, are the corridors in schools, are corporate meeting rooms where I do drama-based training programs, and the one factor that I have noticed in these spaces where people are coming with the sense that there is going to be some form of theatre happening over here. In a school, it's a checkbox. In a corporate learning and development environment, they need to do a training program, and they thought, oh, we'll try something interesting and we'll call a drama company to do a training. So for them, it's always a check mark, and the idea that it's theatre, that it's performance, that there is a discipline to it, or that there is a certain kind of craft coming into it, doesn't exist in the minds of those who are inviting us, nor is it for the people who are eventually going to watch it. So it becomes a dialogue between us, who are facilitating what's happening, and the people who are making it, which is the children, in this case of schools, or the people who are engaged in these workshops. And so that becomes a very, very intimate space of performance and exchange of ideas. So to come back to the core of this discussion, which is what role do we play in these spaces when we take ourselves out of the conventional proscenium stage, where the audience knows they've bought a ticket, they've come, they know they're going to watch a play, and they're going to take back something from it. And instead, we are in this unconventional space where a bunch of parents are coming to watch a play that the kids have put up, and they're anyway going to love it because they've seen their child in it. The role that we end up playing over there, either as directors or the mentors or the people that are making these things happen, is to be able to inculcate a sense of, irrespective of whether we're working with children or we're working with young adults to be able to inculcate a sense that there is well, actually, it all boils down to the one thing: the magic of creation. There's no other way to describe it. And that alone, actually, very honestly, the minute they transcend that and they realize, oh, acha, I don't have to learn all these lines. Then I can understand this character because I have lived this. The minute that switch happens, magic happens. Because then they don't have to be actors. They found a hook. What I was called back to a previous plot point. Then they find a hook to be able to engage with theatre making. And for me, I believe this is the role of every theatre maker and every artist, irrespective of the spaces that we're conventional, non-conventional, that we occupy, is that we need to be able to leave the people engaging with our work with something. With a thought, with a question, with a new perspective, and not just a sense of maza aaya. We need to go beyond this feeling of, I loved it, it was nice, it was good, it was fun, into a point of, it made me think, or it made me see something differently. I never saw it this way, or it could even be how could they say that? It could be an antagonistic response, but it has to be something that we're leaving them thinking, grappling with at the end of it. Otherwise, there is, I feel, as artists, as theatre makers, as creators, therein lies our original purpose, to question the human state, human condition, and to ask people to look at it differently. It's not about the final product. It's not about the colors we throw on a canvas. It's not about the notes that we put together. It's about what we do with that. In the Natya Shastra, there is the rasa theory. There is a very beautiful concept that I always find, and it really applies to life also. It says, there's bhava, there's rasa, but there's also this concept of rasa nishpatti. So bhava is what we do up here on stage. We portray bhava. Rasa is what the audience feels. So what I'm trying to do is the nishpatti of rasa, the creation of rasa in the other person, which may or may not be in my hand. I might have some other thought in my head, but you're feeling something else entirely. But as long as you're feeling something, my role, my purpose is fulfilled. So whether I'm occupying conventional space and unconventional space, as long as I'm an artist, a creator, a theatre maker, my objective, my role is to be able to get people to think, to see something differently, and if possible, look at the craft of theatre making with new eyes. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. I just conclude with this line that which I always say, that theatre is a contagious disease. Spread it. And so spread it, and we are trying to conventionally or unconventionally method, we are trying to spread it, and that is theatre. During the COVID period also I have spread it through online, and 8 years to 58 years, they were not connected with theatre anywhere. But they came online, they learned theatre, where all theatre gurus were telling, नहीं, online हम acting कैसे सिखा सकते हैं, voice and diction सिखा सकते हैं. हमने कहा, no, we can teach them acting also. And we can teach them a theatre doesn't mean that we are going to produce actors. We are going to produce a good human being. Person within a person, this is a reflection, this kind of reflection. And this we try to create, and we will try to create endlessly जब तक हमारे जान में जान है. Thank you.
One last thing I want to leave this with is that ultimately, in the final analysis, the whole term acting means it is not real. So we are trying to create something which is going beyond what we perceive as our reality within our being and within our surroundings. It is acting. It is not really. So we want to create that equation. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Kanaka, for having had us.
Incomplete. Actually, not at all started. It's just the beginning. We need to wish we had more time, but today it's everything gone. Yeah, and we should continue this discussion. Actually, yeah. Thank you very much.